Welcome to Midnight Menu Plus One. I'm Ray Canada.
And I'm Margot Moss. Midnight Menu Plus One is a food lifestyle show on the podcast network, itsneworleans.com. Brought to us tonight by Petite Pet Care. While you're at work or on vacation, you don't have to board your pet. He can stay in the comfort of his own home. For loving care when you're not there, Petite Pet Care. Find them at petitepetcare.com.
Each week on Midnight Menu Plus One, Margot and I invite a member of New Orleans' restaurant and food community to join us, and we invite them to bring along their own guest, a plus one. We never know who the plus one's going to be. Sometimes it's a friend, a neighbor, a family member, fellow restaurant colleague. But our special guest tonight on Midnight Menu Plus One is Bryan Gilmore of Creole Creamery, everybody's favorite ice cream shop in the galaxy. So this is very exciting for us. But before we introduce him, Margot, do you have anything you want to share about your restaurant adventures this week?
I don't have any restaurant adventures, but I wanted to put something out there.
Go ahead.
I'm just curious for you or maybe our listeners. My husband has been sick, and that's a rare occasion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And so he's a big baby.
Uh-huh.
But also something that's I've found fascinating is he eats like gobs of garlic.
Uh-huh.
And, like extreme amounts.
Like, what does that mean, extreme amounts? Like you
like
come home, he's just eating like an apple? He's just chewing on cloves of garlic?
I had some dinner tonight, and he opened up, I had some minced garlic, and he literally took 3, like, ice cream scoopfuls worth of garlic and added it to his small portion of food.
Well,
So
what kind of food?
It was just like a chicken and rice.
So he puts 3 big scoops of garlic
Yes,
in it.
he feels it's going to heal him. So my question for
so
you
he doesn't do this
is
day in and day out.
No.
See, I was wondering if that's what made him sick.
No.
Oh, no. This is what's going to make him better.
This is going to heal him. So
Well, if
I'm
he's got like
wondering,
vampirism or something, maybe.
well, I'm wondering if
even bit
you
on the
do
neck?
anything peculiar or obsessive, like with food, while you're sick, and maybe we can ask our guests that too.
Well, one thing I do is when I get sick, I do the opposite of what everybody else does. I believe that you need to move around, because the thing is, you're laying in bed, right, and your body's saying, "Oh, okay, it's time to rest. We don't have to do anything. And they can shut down." Whereas if you get up and stress yourself a little bit, like go on a long walk, then your body goes, "Oh crap, it's crisis time. We got to get better. We got to get stronger." So as soon as I get sick, I go on a really long walk. So the last time I got sick, I had 102 fever. I canceled most of my appointments that day, and I walked 12 miles. And you know what? I got better the next day. My
Okay.
fever went away. So
I think
I'm really
that's
into
the craziest
that.
thing I've ever heard, but maybe it works. You could have just solved the flu
I guess
epidemic.
so we don't get sued, we need to tell our listeners I am not a I am a doctor, but I'm not a medical doctor, and I have absolutely no knowledge behind that. I've never read a study that says this works. It's just my own personal theory. So don't listen to me. Don't do what I do, because that's basically a rule. In general, don't do what I do.
Okay. Well, do you have anything?
No, not after
food-related?
that. Now that spent it all.
Okay.
I'm going to have
right.
some really good stories next week, actually.
All right,
But
good.
I'm planning some good stuff
then
this week.
we can get to Bryan,
Yeah,
I
let's not
guess,
delay
and-
anymore. Bryan came through a tornado to get here, literally. There's a tornado watch. I think he's broken the law to come here. I just walked, but he drove. So welcome, Bryan Gilmore
Hi,
of
guys.
Creole Creamery.
Hi,
So
how
glad
are
to
you?
have you here.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us. I could get into a serious question right away, but I would like to know if you have any crazy food ideas when you're
That's
under
all
the
I
weather.
have. Oh, when I'm under the weather.
Yeah, well, in general.
Wait, I know he's going to say you go ice cream. Ice cream is the cure for everything. Yeah.
No, I don't really have any good gimmicks. When I'm sick, I also do not like to lie around. I might do that a little bit at first. When it really hits me, I'll lie around for a little bit. But I like to move around too. I drink a lot of water. I drink a lot of water. And I probably eat healthier than I ever do in my entire life when I'm sick. I'm not having ice cream or anything like that, or kids cereal.
Wait a second.
I'm having
You make ice cream for a living. You're gonna acknowledge on the record that ice cream's not healthy for you.
I'm going, yeah.
What?
Let's stop the presses. But yeah, it's a treat.
It's
not
a dairy.
food group.
Wait, it's not a food group?
Well, thank you. So you're a very honest guest. You're not going to lie about. You're not going to try and tell
No,
people that ice
I'm-
cream can cure.
What if they made garlic ice cream?
I have made garlic ice cream. Yeah.
No way. You
I
really
surely
made
have, yeah.
for yourself, or
I have a little story that I'll tell you about the garlic ice cream. So we've been open now at Creole Creamery. The Uptown store, anyway, has been open for a little over 10 years. It was 10 years last February. And probably about year 2, I made a garlic ice cream. It wasn't too bad either. I roasted the garlic. It got nice and sweet. And it never sold. It was one of those flavors, and every now and then there is one of those flavors that sits there, and you can see all these little trails through it of people who are like, "That's really neat. Let me try that." And they taste it and they go, "Oh, wow, that's interesting. I'll have the cookies and cream." But I made this garlic ice cream, and I think I made 5 gallons of it. So
Did it smell
2 of
bad?
those big tubs. No, it smelled delicious.
like roasted,
It just didn't
like
sell. I think if I were to make something like that again now, it would sell a lot better than it did then.
it was
Things
a little
Why?
progressive.
have changed a lot in the last 10 years.
What's changed?
People's palates and what they're open to have changed a lot. Certainly, the customers that come into the Creole Creamery, the first couple of years were kind of like, this is nuts. And now they expect and welcome sort of off-the-wall, unusual flavors. But going back to the garlic ice cream. So we had this garlic ice cream. It wasn't really selling. We decided to pull it. And I think I sold 1 tub of it. It took forever to sell. Probably took like 2 weeks to sell that 1 tub. So I pulled the other tub, put it in the back freezer. A lady came in, and she's like, "Where's that garlic ice cream? It was so good. It was so good." It's like, "Oh, we still have a whole tub of it in the back. It's not moving." She's like, "Oh, well, let me take home some quarts of it." So it turns out this lady was taking home pints and quarts of this garlic ice cream and making a big hot bowl of spaghetti and serving it to her friends.
I was
going to
say that.
with
Oh.
a scoop of the ice cream. It's
No
cream
way.
and,
I was
and
guessing.
garlic. And if I remember correctly,
She was
I had
using
some
it
other
like a
stuff in there,
gravy.
too. Yeah, she put it on top and let the heat from the pasta melt it down into a cream sauce. Now,
That
I don't know how
is-
good it was, but it certainly sounds fun. And so we kept that in the back
Fun,
for
yeah.
another couple of months for her in the back freezer.
Wait,
and
why
she
didn't you
just-
try it though? You had some left over.
I never did try it. I never did do it.
Now, and honestly, did you like the garlic, or you just stuck with it because you made it? Did you taste it and like
I thought it was.
have to?
I thought it was pretty good. I thought it wasn't too bad. There was a first attempt that didn't go out that was not so great. After which I decided this. I changed the recipe a little bit. Said, okay, this is. I think the first time I had done it, I kind of half-assed it. Like I used some garlic oil and I don't remember what else I did. This is a
But
long
this
time
one
ago.
you put real chunks of garlic.
I roasted it up. I got it nice and caramelized, and I pureed that up, and it tasted awesome. It tasted really good.
Huh.
So yeah.
Well, speaking of ice cream, I see a bag in front of you and
Yeah.
some spoons, and I'm afraid that is all going to melt, and that would be a tragedy. So maybe we should, if you
I
have
did
ice
bring
cream
some
to
stuff,
share.
if you want to try some.
Yeah,
here,
what'd you
but-
bring?
I just brought a little. I kind of ran in and grabbed a little selection of some of my favorite flavors of what we currently have. We do a lot of seasonal flavors, and so they change constantly. But so let's see. This is some coconut sorbet in case anybody needed a dairy-free option. This one here is called Chef's Perfect Chocolate. That's Valrhona chocolate with some fleur de sel and caramelized cocoa nibs.
Wow.
This one is one of my personal favorites. Now
You won't
I'm
find
on-
that in the grocery
I'm on the
section,
last
yeah.
tub of this stuff at the shop because it's really a summer flavor, but I had some more left over. I made a big batch of it. This is called Mango Unchained. So good. This is mango ice cream with some local honey, cayenne pepper, and Southern Comfort.
Tarantino never
Yeah.
imagined
Open 'em
anything
up.
that good. Yeah. Yes.
Well, he's pulling them
Salty,
out. This
smoky
is-
chocolate almond. It's a dark chocolate with some smoked fleur de sel and roasted almonds.
Give me a spoon.
This is probably my favorite flavor that I make the entire year. This is pear with balsamic caramel.
Wow.
That's
Yum.
awesome.
I've never had it with. So this has caramel in it. Balsamic
The pear, yeah, it's
caramel.
I reduced down the
Nice.
balsamic vinegar,
Margot, it wouldn't be the first time
add
we
that
share a spoon
to
here.
caramel sauce, lavender honey, which is one of our
Oh, yeah.
most popular
Love
flavors.
that, yeah.
Steen's molasses oatmeal cookie, another
mackerel.
fall flavor. Favorite.
Wait.
It's just like
And
Willy
that's it.
Wonka here. You just like keep bringing it on. How'd you fit so much ice cream in that little bag?
It's little scoops.
Wow.
I should have brought more. I
Oh my
guess
goodness.
It's so good.
This is the coconut.
the coconut
It's
sorbet.
dairy-free? Yeah,
It's
it is-
dairy free. That's right.
It has a really nice creamy flavor.
Thank you. It does. I mean, I wish I could take credit for that.
Leave
but
it to Margot to go for the sorbet.
That's coconuts.
What are you doing?
Leave the coconuts
It's
alone.
just the first
That's
one.
just pureed coconut meat, sugar, and water, and that's it.
It's just the first one I could reach.
All right. That was pretty noble of you, actually. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So, Brian, you're an overachiever. Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is impressive.
Now, will you explain what fleur de sel is?
Yeah, fleur de sel is it's this type of sea salt. If you go up to like the salt beds, like say in the North Atlantic, all the salt that sort of floats up to the top, they sort of skim it off. So I mean, almost literally the creme de la creme. It's the salt that they would skim off the top of those salt beds. It's really a finishing salt. You don't really cook with fleur de sel. You sprinkle it on top of something at the end. It's just got a really lovely, pure, oceany flavor.
Yeah. Well, it's and it balances things out. It's not overpowering. Right?
Yeah, it's true. It's not as acerbic as like table salt. Use it in the right proportions, just like anything else, and you're going to get that salty flavor without it being, disgusting.
All right. Now let me step back a little bit. How did you learn to make ice cream?
Well, technically, I taught myself how to make ice cream, but my relationship with ice cream goes back a ways. I worked at the local Swenson's ice cream out in Metairie-on-Severn when I was in high school and into my first year or so of college. That location, they made the ice cream there for all the local Swenson's. It was a little local chain, all the little franchises. So I think there were 5 or 6 at the time. They made all the ice cream at that location. And it was much like the Creole Creamery is. It was also a dine-in location. You had table service and waiters and that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. So that's sort of where I cut my teeth. And David Bergeron, who's the owner of Creole Creamery, he also worked there, and we've been friends since that time. So when Swenson's closed up, finally the last one closed its doors, David, who was looking to be a restaurateur, and I, who was working in the kitchen, he came to me and said, he had tried my ice cream and said, I know you're into this. Do you want to come and make ice cream? And my first response was no. I had a little job. Alongside my +1 today as well, doing production work, and I was doing all right. But after that fell through around 2001, you can kind of guess what happened.
Wait, what kind of production?
It was software production.
Oh, okay.
So at that point, I decided, what's going on with the ice cream thing? It's like, still want to make it happen. So we kind of teamed up and got this thing going. Wow. But I had started making ice cream a few years before that, just in my home, in the same little Cuisinart ice cream makers that everybody else would use. But I was making flavors like pear and champagne sorbet and avocado ice cream, and I was giving it to my family and my friends, and everybody really enjoyed it, and that was where it ended. Until David came to me and said, "Do you want to make the ice cream for this business?" And there you go. And the rest is history.
Excellent.
All right. Well, I want to hear more about that, but your +1 just came in, and I think it's time for you to introduce him.
My +1 is a good friend of mine for many, many years. His name is Arman Sadeghpour, and he is the CEO of Theodent, which if you do, I guess you do know, of the local. Well, I should say it's now gone international, but it's a New Orleans-based business, and they make the chocolate toothpaste is what people call it. So this is Arman Sadeghpour.
All right.
Hello, everybody.
Thank you, Arman, for
to have
coming
you here.
and joining him tonight.
My pleasure. I've known Brian for a long time. Actually, we've been friends since high school, coincidentally, and so very happy to be here.
Did you go to Brother Martin together?
We did.
It's funny, we both went to Brother Martin, although senior year Arman left and went to a school in Houston, but we didn't really know each other at Brother Martin. We kind of knew of each other. We only became friends at Tulane, and we're like, we went to high school together. How about that?
You weren't the same year, were you?
We were.
You were the same year, too?
Yeah.
It's not like a huge school, right? How many were in your class?
Yeah, I think there were 230, something like that in our class. Huh. But I think Arman was in all honors classes. That must have been what it was.
Armand, so when y'all met, you were in computer software?
Well,
I mean,
actually,
is that what you...
we met each other at Tulane, actually, during undergrad at Tulane. But as Brian mentioned, when we finished up, I work for a computer software company, educational software company, doing digital media, and Bryan was interested in it, so we reconnected and we started working together over there.
And what does that mean? What did you do in digital media?
We did mainly digital video production. So it was an educational software company that did software mainly. So we were taping, math lessons and, that kind of stuff, editing it together, and that was our day job. Have you ever seen Office Space?
Yes.
It's pretty much like Office Space.
Very much like Office Space. Although we had a number, this is true, in our department, we had a number of stand-up comedians, literally stand-up comedians. How many, like 4?
Yep.
So it was actually a really fun job working with those guys. I got the job because I had some experience doing sound, had some recording studio experience.
Yeah, you're a musician, right?
I'm a musician, yeah. So I had gotten the job to do all their sound work for them.
Huh. Now, did you have anything to do with the development of the chocolate toothpaste flavor? Did you?
I did. Well, only tangentially. I did the flavors for the Theodent line.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, tell
place.
us about Theodent, please, and how it came to you. And
definitely, yeah. Theodent is
does that
basically
mean like God tooth?
It's so theobromine, which is the molecule for which the toothpaste is actually named after, was dubbed by Linnaeus in 1752. It's a genus species of the cacao tree or plant. Theobroma cacao. So Theo is the Greek root for food. Broma, the Greek root for... I'm sorry, Theo, the Greek root for God. Broma, the Greek root for food. So literally, chocolate was named food of the gods. And so the active ingredient in the toothpaste is actually theobromine, which is a molecule similar to caffeine.
And how did this concept come to you? Did you wake up from a dream, or years of science and computer background?
Coincidentally, goes back to high school with my mentor, Dr. Nakamoto, who is a PhD in nutrition from MIT. He worked at the dental school at LSU for 30 years. He's taught, pretty much every dentist in Louisiana physiology, and it was part of research that we were doing back then. It was an accidental finding. Mm-hmm.
So did you give him any royalties?
He was
Like I said,
really smart
he
guy.
really wasn't.
Basically, his lawyer should be like writing a letter right now. You just admitted on the air that it was all his idea.
Yeah, well, we're actually in business together.
Okay.
Still, yeah. Dr. Nakamoto is also a co-founder of the company, but the research really started, back then and continued. I ultimately did research for my doctoral thesis at Tulane when I graduated, where we looked at this molecule against fluoride, and we determined or actually found out that it works better than fluoride and can actually physically rebuild your enamel. So
it can rebuild your enamel.
Yes, sir.
That's revolutionary.
It is.
This is so
Have
cool.
you proven this?
Yeah, we have. We have a.
Do other people
publication.
agree that you've proven this?
We do. We actually just came back from the American Dental Association
Wow.
National Conference in San Antonio, and we released the results of a big clinical trial actually last year. We went up against prescription Sensodyne, and we actually beat it on all 4 measurements affecting sensitivity because, again, it can physically rebuild the enamel, so it rebuilds the structural integrity of the tooth and makes
Because you're
it
the
not
first.
sensitive.
Because basically, there's no other product that rebuilds enamel that's in toothpaste, is there?
Correct. Well, actually, fluoride can't help you rebuild the enamel.
All it can do is just protect it from further decay.
From
and
erosion,
fluoride,
yep.
some people think causes cancer, right?
There are some studies that show. There was a study out of Harvard, I believe a doctoral student by the name of Elaine Basson, that found a correlation between fluoride and osteosarcoma in young boys. There are tons of studies
Correlation
out there.
doesn't prove causality, but
Yeah.
still there's something there, huh?
There's definitely reason for concern. A lot of people, every tube of fluoride toothpaste in the United States has to be marked that, can't be swallowed. So there's definitely something there in terms of ingestion.
How have
True,
I missed
it's
this?
true.
I've been
And let me chime in and say I have twin daughters who are 3.5. They have only used Theodent. They also make a Theodent for kids, which tastes like chocolate.
Thanks to Bryan, it tastes like
They
chocolate.
have only used Theodent toothpaste, and we just came from the dentist office today for their 6-month checkup. And the dentist, they have no plaque, they have no cavities. She said their teeth look beautiful.
And how old are they?
They're 3.5.
That is incredible, because a 3.5-year-old is not scrubbing
No.
hard.
And there's
with
really no, they make those fluoride-free toothpaste for toddlers and
Yeah.
younger.
Right. So
There's really nothing beneficial in those toothpaste. It's just sort of a training toothpaste. They don't really help keep the plaque off the teeth, and they certainly don't rebuild enamel.
So what's the drawback? Why isn't everybody in America using your toothpaste right now? Just because they haven't heard of it yet? I mean, to me, it sounds like, okay, so if you can actually do everything traditional toothpaste do, plus rebuild enamel, and it tastes like chocolate, what the hell else do you need? I mean, is it $1,000 a tube? Like, why isn't everybody using it?
It is slightly more expensive, so we sell that toothpaste in about 200 Whole Food stores nationwide, and it retails for about $10. It's expensive for us to produce because the ingredient is natural, et cetera, but it just takes time, for people to learn about it. We educated about 400 dentists at this conference, and it just takes a little time for it to, to grow stronghold in the marketplace.
Well, I have to tell you, I have bought it before, and you're out at the Whole Foods.
Okay.
And that's
Once
exciting
again.
to me. No, that means it
so
is
many
in
complaints about that place.
demand. It's not a complaint.
it's
To
not,
me,
right?
to me, I
I'm
thought
turning it
I
into
was
a complaint.
excited because to me that meant people are buying it and believe in it.
Definitely. Well, so after we released the results of that clinical trial that showed that it's better than Sensodyne for sensitivity, we got slammed with orders quite a bit, and it was really hard for us to keep up. We are totally solvent, though, on all 3 products in the inventory now, and it's should be in your Whole Foods.
Now, is it
Okay,
made
wait,
in the
wait,
U.S. or is this made, like, where is this made?
It's definitely made in the U.S. Yes, it's made in an FDA-inspected registered facility in the States.
That's terrific.
And
I think everybody else's is made in China, isn't it?
Well, depends. I think it depends on the manufacturer, but yes, definitely a lot of the toothpaste are certainly made in China, and they don't, for mass market, they're not. They don't really care.
The same people that make the drywall and the bad enamel and the paint on the kids' toys and all that. Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
so it's safe for kids to ingest. And is there any collaboration on a Theodent ice cream flavor or?
I mean, the kids' toothpaste tastes pretty
tastes good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only way this story could get better. Is if all of a sudden you said, no, wait, and you could have the same effect by eating ice cream.
Not
It would
bad.
rebuild the enamel in your teeth if you just eat ice cream. Of course, we couldn't put
Theodent
fluoride
flavor.
in ice cream because it says on the tube you can't swallow it or it'll,
right.
kill you, it'll give you cancer. But this stuff you could. Get on it.
Okay.
Come on. I
I'll
want you
make
to
it-
call it
I'll
Ray,
make
though.
it
Can you call it
happen.
Ray
Give
Ray?
me a
or
week.
something?
What do
Give me
you
a
mean?
week.
Call it Margot. You can't just because you like the idea. It can't be named after you.
You said it
If it's
timidly.
not gonna be
I
called
stuck my neck
Theodent.
out. I think this is my idea, really.
The Theodent
Roll
ice
back
cream.
the tape.
Okay. I heard you say that you had other 3 products. What
Yes.
what do y'all sell besides?
Oh, you brought samples of that, too.
Of course. I brought
This is the
examples.
best show ever. Ice cream
And
Theodent.
he's going to fix my teeth.
So we have this is the Theodent Kids, which is the chocolate
What
flavor.
a good-looking box.
Isn't it beautiful?
That is the most handsome box I've ever seen.
Wait till
for
you see
a-
the tube.
So you're not the creative
Award-winning for
guy because
design.
you're too
You have
brainy. Who is the who is helping
actually,
with
we
it?
work with a local local graphic designer.
Oh, come on. It was
here.
designed in New Orleans,
It
too?
was designed in New Orleans.
This keeps getting better.
And the packaging's won a Red Dot Design Award, which is the most prestigious international design award in the world. And then
Wait,
the
there are
kids,
design awards for toothpaste
they're-
boxes?
well, it's for everything.
It's for everything.
Oh, okay.
Apple's won,
okay.
Mercedes-Benz, the big industrial design companies, people that have.
because it's not open. Can I open
Go,
it?
yeah, go
Can
for
you
it. Open
share
it.
who the company is that helped? Because we want to support. I mean, that's a big honor that.
It's actually a local graphic designer by the name of Rencher Lan, who helped us with the packaging.
So you have.
It looks like a
Whitening
candy bar.
Crystal mint. The kids' chocolate,
Yep. Whitening
And-
chocolate chip for the kids.
and what is the white packaging?
The white is our extra strength. It's our clinical strength, and it's also in the Whitening Crystal Mint, but it has more of the active ingredient. And we actually,
Why doesn't all of it have more of the active ingredients? Is it more expensive?
it's
too?
more expensive. In
Okay.
fact, that tube is $100 a tube. So,
Whoa! And I just opened it. I just ruined $100.
oh, that's
Well,
for you guys.
I ate
thought it was a
$12 of ice
collector
cream, and
item?
then I.
We're gonna fight. We're gonna wrestle over who gets the.
That's right. You're gonna have to manage your
$100.
share.
Let's arm wrestle, Margot.
Grant had to cut because we were getting so crazy over the ice cream, and now we might go to blows over the.
Oh yeah, no, I think we got to flip a coin for that. Well, you brought 3 tubes though, but those are like $10. It's the $100 tubes. Oh man, all right, you can have the $100 tube. I'll take the 2 $10 tubes. But I'm
right.
sold. I'm throwing away all my toothpaste tonight. This is all I'm ever going to use again.
So Bryan told us that he doesn't have any weird like food things. Well, at least around health. But I see you were eating Halls.
Yes.
Do you have any other thing you do besides Halls when you're feeling under the weather? And brush your teeth? Well,
not really. No.
No?
I might
You're not
gargle with
compulsive?
peroxide or something, but no, nothing food related.
okay. Bryan,
Yeah.
so I mean, I know you were asked to come and work in ice cream, but what gave you the courage to really follow through and do it?
I had wanted to work I'd worked in a kitchen briefly in fine dining downtown, and that quickly cured me of my sort of chefly aspirations. There are a lot of things that went into that decision to leave that.
Well, ice cream is, the shop is open regular hours. It's not in the middle
There's
of the night.
a lot of
and,
advantages to my kitchen versus a hot kitchen, at a restaurant. Running around, yelling at people, getting yelled at, sweating, trying to cook while you're sweating.
Where'd you work? Who yelled at you?
I think everybody yelled at me. But I worked briefly for the Brennan Company.
Oh, okay.
And it was a good experience too. It just wasn't for me at that time in my life. And after that is when I decided to find something else, and was when I started doing some sound engineering and production work. But the great thing about my kitchen is it's a one-man show, so I am to blame for every problem, and I get all the praise when something goes right.
So no one else makes ice cream. Every bite of ice cream I've ever had at Creole Creamery has been made by your hands.
It's made by me on the Prytania location. That's where my kitchen is.
Oh.
And it's also, I don't really get in the weeds because when I make ice cream, it's a 2-day process of once it's made, then it's a 2-day freezing and thawing process. So I'm not trying to get stuff out to customers, on the fly.
Oh.
Now, ice cream and your product, Theodent, they're both natural. I mean, great ingredients, obviously. What is the shelf life on fresh made ice cream in your store, and then I want to know what the longevity of the.
Once it's frozen, I've got a pretty good shelf life. I mean, I would say it could probably last 8 to 10 months if frozen, but I never have ice cream in the freezers for more than a couple of weeks at the most. If it's not selling, it might be there for 2 weeks.
Now, you said there was a thawing process you mentioned before. I'm ignorant of this, how this
Okay.
process works. So, you're freezing it to a greater degree than how we're eating it. I mean, what does that mean?
Well, one of the reasons that I'm able to make ice cream as smooth, free of ice, and has a really good mouthfeel, a really good texture to it. It's because I'm using really big, expensive machinery. I mean, I'm using a big Emery Thompson machine that costs $35,000, something like that. It makes 10 gallons at a time. But one of the really important things is once you make the ice cream and it comes out of the machine, it sort of comes out in soft serve consistency. You seal off the top of it with some wax paper or cellophane or something like that, so no air, moisture gets into it and compromises the product. It goes into hard boxes or blast freezers that we keep at -30. Freezes them really hard, really fast. It stays there overnight, at least overnight. Next morning, I'll pull them out. They're hard as a rock. It goes into storage, which is about 0 degrees, and it takes about another 24 hours to slowly thaw to 0 degrees. And then when it goes out front, it goes into so we have 2 tubs for each flavor, one on top, one on bottom, sort of on deck, waiting. And then it'll take, a little bit of time for that bottom flavor to thaw to scooping temperature as well. So,
And what's scooping temperature at?
it's usually somewhere. Those freezers are usually kept at around 15, but we open them all day long. So, you're looking at somewhere around 25 degrees, somewhere in the 20s.
Now, what would happen if you just went from the soft serve stuff right to the 25 degrees?
It would be terrible. It would be icy and funky, and if you have a pint of ice cream at home and you pull it out of the freezer and you scoop some out, or maybe you eat it right out of the pint and you put it back, if you put it back, if you don't finish it, and next time you take it out, it's going to be icy and funky and
Right.
a layer of like a
That's
film
why
over the top of it.
happens? I always thought there was something wrong with my freezer.
Well, there's
Like-
nothing wrong with your freezer. What happens is, you want to keep ice crystals forming on the top. So every time you put it back in, you want to seal off the top, like get some paper or cellophane and press down on top of the ice cream. But more importantly, once ice cream is frozen, you can't thaw it and then let it freeze up again. You can't sort of thaw it even by a little bit and freeze it again. Those molecules that gel together so beautifully and give you that creamy product, they break. And they'll never gel together again, which is why you get freezer burn and things like that.
Huh. Wait, did
So-
you just give us a tip now? Hold on a second.
I
so
did.
If
That's a good tip.
If I get a carton of ice cream and I take a few scoops out, I immediately put it back in the freezer. I should put some cellophane over top of it.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
there's no extra air in the container because the air has moisture and that's gonna
right.
compromise the product.
That's right.
Didn't know that. Did you know that, Mark?
No,
I've never
I'm
seen it. My
so
grandmother never
excited.
did that. That sounds great.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that. Okay. Huh.
And
Go ahead.
sourcing like you use certain quality of product, right?
Sure.
Brian. And do you enjoy or do you source? How do you source? Like, let's say you come up with a flavor. How do you go about sourcing the ingredients and knowing what?
There's all kinds of different ways that first there's all kinds of ways to inspire me to come up with a new flavor. Once I've got an idea for something, I kind of go on the hunt. If I can get something locally, I'll get it locally.
Okay.
If I can get something cheap, I'll get it cheap. You know, but that question of the ingredients that I use is the most important question. I do not ever want to skimp on quality because you taste it. I taste it for sure, and it means a lot to me. So when I'm looking for my ingredients, I have certain places that I know I can go. I know I can go to the local markets. I can go to Holly Grove, you know, and I'll use what's seasonal. And that's another thing is that I do a lot of seasonal flavors, so I kind of already know. Well, when I'm getting peaches, I can get them from Ruston, or I can go to Holly Grove and get something good. So
This interests me, and it just occurred to me. Okay, so if we go into any other restaurant besides yours, pretty much anywhere in the city, you get a menu. The menu, everything's not one price. Everything's different prices. But when you go to an ice cream place, now, as I'm hearing you speak about the different kind of ingredients you use, there's a wide variety of ingredients, a wide variety of prices, but the ice cream's priced all the same.
Or one flavor that I make that's kind of expensive, I make in the summer, is called Champagne Violette. It's champagne ice cream with a little bit of lemon zest and candied violet petals. Little crunches, almost like little floury pop rocks in the champagne ice cream. It's a delicious flavor. It's kind of expensive flavor to make, too. Now, we don't lose money on it, but it certainly makes there's a lot less of a profit margin on something like that than on, you know, vanilla, something like that, mint chocolate chip. But when you're offering those kind of flavors, that's going to bring people in. That's why people keep coming back. And when I'm changing those flavors, and when the Champagne Violette's gone, well, the pear and balsamic caramel is going to be there to take its place. You know, things change throughout the course of the year. So,
Have you ever thought about offering like a crazy expensive flavor and then charging a little extra for that?
I've done that once.
What was that?
Well, I do it. I haven't actually done it this year, but I make a foie gras ice cream. And it is really expensive to make. So this ice cream I make.
Tried that?
I have
Armand?
not.
You have not? No.
Unfortunately.
I take 2 lobes of foie, and I foies are like foie gras is like 90% fat, you know, something like that.
Yeah.
And so I cook it down to where there's nothing but fat, and then I sort of strain out the solids. Then I get some sugar in there, and I caramelize the fat, and I use that to make the base of the ice cream. Then I add a little bit of sauternes to it, a little bit of wine, dessert wine to it. And
How do you know it's going to work? I mean, that's crazy because you're not usually using meat in your ice cream, right? So that's not something you're used to working
It's
with.
true, but it's fat. It's fat is fat.
So
And
fat's like oil, essentially.
Yeah, I've made a duck fat ice cream with some peach and stuff too. So, and then I swirl in I'll make like a huckleberry or a blackberry coulis, and I kind of swirl then ribbon that into the foie gras ice cream.
And
Delicious
that makes
flavor.
sense because
Now-
they go together. I mean, that would be drizzled over a...
Yeah, exactly. It's a.
Did you do it on the first? Did it turn out well on the first shot? The first time you tried it?
Pretty good from the get-go, I have to
Okay,
say.
because I mean, you make a mistake with that. Now that's a pretty expensive mistake. Now you got to run out and get some more foie gras or whatever.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
No, I did. I managed to. I made it work first time out of the gate. But I've gotten pretty good at over the course of the years of knowing what's going to work and what's not going to work. If I have something that doesn't fly, it usually flies because not enough people like that flavor. Yeah. But it's rarely a case of I messed that one up. But to get to the point of that story, the foie gras flavor, I didn't raise the price of that scoop, but we charged a 50-cent surcharge to taste it. Because people would want to come in and taste it. And really, we go through, you would not believe the amount of free samples we go through. You've seen that sign that we keep in the back that says, "Don't be a tasting hog"?
Yeah.
We go through 10,000 tasting those little wooden spoons every 3 months.
And each one of those
10,000
every 3 months.
Yeah.
3,300 a month.
It's
100
insane.
a day.
Now,
if you're open every day, 110 a day.
That's about right. Yeah. I mean, we'll do more than that on the weekends, unless not during the week, but on average.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing.
Wow.
I get it. I get that when you have flavors like that, you want to taste them.
How many hours a day you open?
Yeah, and everybody,
we're open every day at noon
person
until
thinks
10
they're
and
the only
11 on
one
the weekends.
trying it. I mean, they don't know that 99 other people.
It's
a
true.
day
That's
are
10
tasting.
spoons an
particularly
hour.
with something
That's
like
one
that.
every 6 minutes.
Yeah, with that foie gras flavor, everybody wants to try it, but not everybody's going to want to buy it. And I'll admit also that the amount of fat in that flavor makes it a tough scoop to eat the entire scoop, you know? So we charge 50% surcharge for tasting it, but then if you buy it, you don't pay the 50 cents. That 50 cents is absorbed back into the price of the ice cream.
How nice.
You don't buy it, you pay the 50 cents.
I got to confess something to you. My daughter, I'm offended every time. I sometimes don't take her to Creole Creamery because of this. She always gets like 3 samples. It's like, just get the damn, just go in and pick one. They're all good.
Well,
they're all good. Just pick which one looks good to you.
I had an idea a few
She's
years
11.
ago.
I mean,
that's
you know.
okay.
But
I had an idea a few years ago that has really kind of taken, it's helped solve that problem, is our mini scoop sampler, which was not an idea that I thought was going to change our business that much, but the amount of people so we do these little golf ball size scoops, and you can get brilliant. 4 or 6 mini scoops for people who just can't decide. Weekend night, there's a line out the door, you know, and they're kind of standing there. I want to taste this, I want to taste that. You know, we offer them the sampler, and the sampler has got to be one of the most popular things on our menu.
Wow. Now, do you ever eat frozen yogurt?
Yes.
Really?
I
hate
it.
frozen yogurt.
I love frozen yogurt.
I'm with the guy from Parks and Recreation. He wrote you ever hear that quote? He wrote a review online of a yogurt place, and he said, "Be ice cream or be nothing, 0 stars." That's how I feel about frozen yogurt.
I feel
but
that
you like
way
it,
about things like non-dairy, coconut milk ice cream and soy ice cream and things like that. I'm kind of like, well, you can call it ice cream, but you got to put quotes on that 'cause it's not really ice cream.
If there's no cream, how can it be ice cream?
I like frozen yogurt a lot. And we take our kids out to
where do you go?
Pinkberry. I usually go to Pinkberry.
Pinkberry, okay.
Yeah, that's where.
Now, where do you go for gelato? Do you get gelato in town?
I don't go that often. I think La Divina makes some pretty incredible gelato.
That seems
they
to be
do
the consensus.
Some really good stuff over there.
Yeah,
but I don't get it too often. My kids love. I think my kids just like to say Pinkberry. Yeah. So if they start to see out of the car that we're near Pinkberry and they start screaming Pinkberry, I'll take them to Pinkberry.
Yeah, I got possessive when a yogurt place opened near you not too long ago.
You mean the one directly across the street from us? Yeah,
and it got me really. I got really upset when I saw people going there and stuff. And I guess
you
got nothing to worry about. You're doing fine.
No, we don't. There was a lot of people who were wondering.
But I got really upset when my wife took my daughter there soon after that one. She only did it once.
Wait.
I'm sure it's great. I'm sure the place
let's
is
ask
great.
Brian. Why would people be upset? It's yogurt. It's not ice cream. I mean, did you have
problems?
problems?
They get both though. If they're going to get the yogurt, it means they're not getting the ice cream.
Yeah, if you're heading out for frozen dessert, that would be you could consider Froyo places our competition. And we'll often get people kids from local the schools in the neighborhood will split up, and one will go over to Yogurtland and some will come over here, and then they'll walk in with their Yogurtland cups, which is fine, not a big deal. We're not hurting for business. A lot of people thought
you're always busy.
That was going to be a kind of a threat to our business, and I mean we just get busier and busier, so we just don't sweat that at all.
Now, your location is still has the letters, the great neon from McKenzie's.
Sure does.
Now, McKenzie's was, we know it now as the chicken place up in Gentilly, but originally it was, I think it's the same family, or it was at one point, right? But originally it was a bakery.
There's a connection, and I don't really understand the connection.
I think they eased into chicken at some point from baking or whatever, but I mean, it was
chicken. McKenzie's
it was
chicken
it was
box.
iconic. Yeah, it was an iconic bakery.
McKenzie's is sort
it's
of
great chicken, by the way.
The quintessential, now defunct Ain't Dare No More New Orleans bakery. There was like 30 of them. There was one in everybody's neighborhood. And, slowly they just started to disappear. And I don't know. It
didn't go straight from McKenzie's to Creole Creamery,
did it? Did. It did. So that actually, the building that we're in.
This is one of the last ones.
Is the first McKenzie's.
That was the first one?
Yeah. That's why. So when you see that sign lit up and everything, that's because it's a registered landmark, and we actually had to restore the storefront. The McKenzie's had closed down. It reopened under new management, and then the health board shut them down. And it was a mess when we got in there, gutted to the studs. But what a serendipitous location for us.
Yeah.
The guy we own the building now, but at the time, a guy by the name Jim McPhail owned it, and he took a poll from some of the locals in the neighborhood asking.
He was the owner.
He was the owner of that property.
Okay.
Yeah. He does own a lot of stuff. Yeah. And he took a poll to see what people wanted there, and I think number 1 was a coffee shop, and number 2 was an ice cream shop.
And they got the coffee shop next door now.
Now we have a coffee shop next door. That place is great, and. We love our location, and it was especially the first few years.
So that's a charmed property. You went from the iconic bakery to the iconic ice cream place.
Nobody had heard of Creole Creamery. It was really easy to tell them, we're in the McKenzie's building. Look for the McKenzie's sign.
Well, this is so interesting. We got to get back to our plus one. Though.
Yes,
I
have a question for Armand.
Sure.
So, how has your life changed since you started Theodent? I mean, were you in another? Were you in a career and that has changed, or is this a side thing, or has it become a?
It's definitely not a side thing. No, if anything, Theodent's gotten more and more, taking up more and more of my time. But we basically founded the company as soon as I finished my PhD at Tulane in 2007.
What was your PhD in?
I did bioinformatics at Tulane.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh?
So it's relates.
Go ahead. We can skip over. I don't know what
no one wants to hear about that.
So you finished your PhD and you started the company, y'all?
Correct, yeah. So Dr. Nakamoto, I, Joseph Fuselier, and Skip Simmons from UNO, we all co-founded Theodent in May of 2007 when we finished the research where we compared it to fluoride, basically, and showed that it works better than fluoride to remineralize the teeth.
So if those trials had not come out that way, then you wouldn't have been in the toothpaste business, probably.
Correct, yeah. I might probably be a professor at Tulane or teaching in the School of Science and Engineering or something like that.
Were you pretty confident? I mean, going into it, did you think this is really going to work? You just didn't know.
It's research. You don't know.
You don't know
until you start studying it, and then, magic bubbles up to the top.
Are you the front man, like the people person? Are you out there, and are other people involved as much as you are?
We definitely have other people involved. I'm the president and the CEO of the company, so I handle mostly the business side of things. Dr. Nakamoto is our chief scientific officer. Joseph, who is an associate professor at Tulane, also helps us with our tech transfer. So I get to manage the patent portfolio, which is kind of stressful because we have 104 pending patents worldwide right now. We have 2 issued in the U.S. Dr. Nakamoto is continuing to kind of oversee the research. So the 80-patient clinical trial that we did last year, that gets overseen by him. We have a VP of professional sales, Carter Higginbotham. She just finished her MBA at Tulane, is sharp as a whip and just fantastic to work with. Director of operations and media, Jansen Hubbard, who helps us. So, I mean, it's a nice team. We're a small group, though, and we all kind of wear a lot of hats, obviously. But it's really fun.
What a great innovation, though. New Orleans is going to be known as the place where this was discovered, and this is something that probably every toothpaste is going to be wanted. Every brand is going to want to have a model or a line that incorporates this, right? I mean, how's the patent work? Like, is this similar like drugs? When you get a new drug, you get exclusive use of that for 7 or 9 years, whatever it is, and then eventually generics can come out and all. Is that how it is? Or?
It's exactly how it is. Okay. So in the United States, all fluoridated toothpaste are drugs. We're actually currently fortunate to be regulated as a cosmetic, which is why we were able to get it out on the market so quickly. But as time goes forward, we'll do some additional clinical trials. We will likely be pushed in the drug route. And if you think about it, I mean, it's kind of crazy to think about it this way, but the only one disease that every human being on this earth suffers from is dental decay. It's the one disease that whether you're, African American, you're Hispanic, you're
rich or
Asian,
poor,
rich, poor, whatever,
young, old, everybody's got it.
Everybody has to deal with
and
dental
you have the
decay.
cure.
we have an alternative to the current standard. And I think that, when you look at the research, here's a study actually that was published in Carey's research. I mean, when you look at the data, it shows at 71 times less the concentration, this compound, which is safe to swallow and in chocolate, works better than the current standard. That's a pretty big deal for the city.
Wow.
And so, filing the patents, that's, we want to have a stronghold on this technology. And we really feel it could be the new standard in toothpaste around the world.
Well, we just got a memo from Crest. We need to shut down this conversation. Actually, it's from Grant, our producer, that we're out of time. I can't believe that was an hour. That just raced by. Boy, we need to get one or both of you back again real soon, because this is really, there's endless more angles to talk about with this. Did you have something else, Margot?
Well, I just wanted to make sure that both of them, we will have links on our website.
Yes.
But I would like y'all both to, Bryan, for you to tell us the locations and hours and how people can
Sure, yeah.
get information.
Our flagship store, which is 4924 Prytania Street, Uptown. And we have a store on Lakeview as well, 6260 Vicksburg. The Uptown store is open every day at noon and open till 10 till 11 on Fridays and Saturdays. Lakeview store, we just started we have seasonal hours over there, so that store is open every day at 2, and now it's open till 9, 10 on the weekends. And we're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You can find us in all those places too.
Great. And Armand, can you tell us if there's a website and where to get the
Sure.
event?
Well, we actually have offices here at the New Orleans Bioinnovation Center, which is at 1441 Canal Street. But if you want to buy Theodent, Whole Foods on Magazine and Whole Foods on Veterans, the Broad Street location, Baton Rouge, and now Lafayette carries it in Louisiana.
Wonderful.
And you can get it at theodent.com.
Our special guest tonight at Midnight Menu Plus One was Bryan Gilmore of Creole Creamery, and his plus one was Arman Sadeghpour of Theodent. Yes. Okay. You can find out more about them about both Theodent and Creole Creamery by following the links on our website, itsneworleans.com.
And thanks tonight to Petite Pet Care for loving care when you're out at Creole Creamery or not running to the dentist because you've got new enamel.
Who needs dentists anymore now?
You're out having fun. You can call Petite Pet Care to take care of your pet.
Thanks again to Monkey Hill Bar on Magazine Street. At Monkey Hill, you can enjoy a 5-hour happy hour every weekday from 3 to 8 p.m. And every Tuesday is Taco Tuesday, Coronas, margaritas, and sangria specials, plus $2 tacos.
That's it tonight for our show. See you next time on Midnight Menu Plus One. Till then, I'm Margot Moss.
And I'm Ray Canada. Good night.
Good night.
Midnight Menu Plus One is produced by Margot Moss, Grant Morris, and me, Ray Canada. Our technical director is Chris Keogh.
You can find photos from tonight's show on our website, itsneworleans.com. On itsneworleans.com, you can also check out our blog. You can listen to lots more episodes of Midnight Menu Plus One and our other shows, including Out to Lunch, Happy Hour, True to the Game, and Mindset.
You can hook up with me and Margot anytime by following Midnight Menu Plus One on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. You can also Google Midnight Menu Plus One, and we come right up.
The fabulous audio quality of this show is brought to us by PreSonus Audio. For more information about PreSonus recording equipment, go to presonus.com.
Midnight Menu Plus One is a production of INO Broadcasting for itsneworleans.com. For all of us here at Midnight Menu Plus One, thanks for joining us. I'm Ray Canada.
And I'm Margot Moss. We look forward to seeing you back here next week on Midnight Menu Plus One.
You know Labor Day signals the unofficial end of summer, but not the end of your outdoor projects. Lowe's helps you do it right and helps you save with Labor Day deals throughout the store. Shop now and get 2 bags of Stay Green Potty Mix for $12. And keep your lawn looking neat and trim with a Craftsman 2-cycle 17-inch gas string trimmer, now $20 off at just $119. Whatever's still on your to-do list this Labor Day, do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. Offers valid through 8/28. Soil offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii. U.S. only.